Good morning. So the question has been raised, can you move to Florida if you're poor? Another loaded question, but I'm going to do the best I can to answer it. Now, if you're a family with children, you are going to have a heck of a time trying to get any housing in Florida. They had to close the Section 8 application because there's almost 1,000 people waiting in line to get Section 8, and that's like choice. But the truth of the matter is, the only place you'll be able to get into with a Section 8 is probably going to be a slum. Most of the properties now are managed by corporations, most of the rentals. What happened was in 2008, when everything collapsed and the government gave all that bailout money to banks, the banks took that money and bought up all of the foreclosures. You were going to be hard pressed. I'm sorry to say conspiracy, but it seems to me it was set up so a regular person was not able to get a house loan at that time. And you can never get a house loan if it's a fixer. And they went in there and with cheap labor, they redid these houses. And suddenly the rents more than doubled. That was 2008 through 2012. Then, of course, COVID changed trajectory a lot, and everyone decided to move to the states that were least restrictive and warm. Because let's face it, not everybody loves the snow and ice, the bad storms, the having to figure out, if you're a family, what am I going to do with my kid? They have to stay home, but I got to go to work. So, very good reasons for coming to Florida. Horse people love Florida. What else? If your kid is into sports, he can, baseball is played in the winter down here. My grandson, Finn, is in a little ball league and baseball. He also does soccer, but that's not in season right now. That comes when the weather's so freaking hot. I don't know how anyone could stand it, but he does it. Little kids, they're strong and mighty, bless their hearts. But so if you're a family and you're coming down here and you don't have money, God help you. They've just passed laws against, it's going to be very, very hard to try to live in a vehicle. It isn't the Florida of when I came down here and we just slept in a car and a truck until we could find an affordable rental. And back in the 90s, it was cheap Florida. Everything was so dirt cheap. Gas, rentals, food. You could go to Plant City and load up on produce, Plant City, Florida. You go to the flea market and you go into the wholesale site. You could just buy flats for nothing, It's not the same anymore, guys. You still can buy those flats, I think, though I think they closed it off so you can't buy, wholesale, but you could still go through the market and, find flats of this and big boxes of vegetables and whatever you want. And it's cheaper than the stores, but it's not as cheap as it used to be, so I don't know, a 2-hour trip down there, is it worth it for someone like me? No. So, yeah, I go through produce too fast. I've had to, go to mostly frozen now. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about getting to Florida. If you're a family and you're poor, I don't recommend it. This has become a state for the very wealthy. And if you don't have $100,000 a year in income, you're not going to do well. And even if you do have $100,000 a year in income, trying to find a rental now is hellish. For a crappy house, an old never updated, in an okay neighborhood, but not great. Because it's sad to say, but a lot of people who have financial problems have other problems sometimes too. And that can make your life miserable. So, my daughter in Texas, she's my oldest, she lives in slum housing. It's all she can do right now, and it's shared with a friend. And drug addicts move in there because it's cheap per rent. And she had a heroin addict, and he was puking off the side of the porch, onto her porch, onto her sidewalk, in the grass. And she'd watch him collect his drugs right in the parking lot and snort it, Very sad, but that is kind of the problem with poverty. Oftentimes, desperate people do desperate things, and they can't get off the drugs and alcohol, or they're criminals, and so they're looking for cheaper places to live. And in Florida, you're going to be miserable. You're not going to be a nice house. So in an iffy neighborhood, it's about $1,200 for a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath house, because I've been looking for my son who would like to move out of that cramped, they want to take his bedroom and turn it into another studio room. And Denny is dying to have his own place, having a very hard time finding one. So I showed him that house, and he said, "Mom, look how old it is. Look how, I don't want to live like that." Well, then you're going to have to be on waiting lists. And I don't know, he hasn't gotten on any apartment waiting lists yet. He was thinking going to the old apartments they used to live at and try there, get on the list. But, so an apartment like that, one of the cheaper ones, I think is now running $1,300, $1,400, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And they're not bad. If you can afford that, if you can get the work. A lot of people relied on drive share, like Uber and Lyft. But Uber specifically has changed the rules so that people aren't making money anymore. And so I wouldn't recommend you thinking, "Oh, yeah, I'll come down here." My boys worked their ever-lovins off to be able to make enough money, and it wasn't even enough money, quite frankly. But, yeah, it led one of them to having to declare bankruptcy. That's how bad it was. And, COVID didn't help. Everyone was so scared, and, if you even, coughed for a moment, you'd get reported to rideshare. And so everybody's coming down here and trying to rideshare, and it's not a good idea if you're a family. Now, so I think the bottom line here is, if you're a family and you're looking for a better life and you're poor, you're not going to find it here. No. That's the truth. And if you think you're going to come down here and live in a vehicle, they're constantly passing laws right now. The latest one was no public sleeping. So in other words, you can't put a tent on a sidewalk. You have to hide out in the woods. The problem with that is they send the police into those woods if anyone complains, and they clean it out. Take all of the people's stuff, and, what do I think of homelessness? I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to be in their position. And it's probably why I'll put up with a heck of a lot in this little apartment, because, listening to some of the van lifers out west, and one who came to Florida, she couldn't find a place to park except for Walmart or Cracker Barrel. And, she wanted to be out in natural spaces, but if you can't pay, you can't play. So now to seniors. If you go to HUD.gov, you'll see senior resources, and you can search it like under the state of Florida. Now, I know there's a list out there, and I gave it to somebody before. There's a list of all the senior public housing in Florida, and I'm still trying to find it. I had it, and I can't find it now. Anyway, like I've said, no, I didn't publish that. I didn't publish that or post that video, and I don't think I'm going to, but what I was thinking was, oh, heavens to Murgatroyd, what was I thinking? If you're a senior, okay, so you go to the HUD.gov, research areas you want to live in. You don't want to go to places like Cocoa Beach. It might be a little cheaper, and there might even be availabilities, but the crime is terrible, guys. And being a senior, you're going to get probably, you know, what is it? So many in 1,000 are victims. It's bad. Look it up. Just Google it. Crime in the town or county you want to live in. Now, there's mid-Florida where there's no beaches, and you really should not swim in lakes down here. It's not just the alligators. It's that bacteria grows in these places, and you can literally die if you get the wrong bacteria in a cut, a scrape, in your eyes, mouth through the water. It literally, it's not often, but this is a whole problem throughout the South. Like a young woman who loved to swim back a ways in, what was it, South Carolina, and she got that brain-eating bacteria and it killed her. You know, a young man down here many years ago, but I remember the story. It was just the most heart-wrenching story. He went with his friends, they were golfing, and his ball went into a little pond, and so they were waiting in it, trying to find his ball. Don't do that. It killed him 24 hours later, okay? Because he had a little scrape on his leg, and the wrong bacteria met his fate, and it was a horrible thing. The mother described it and talked about what happened, and heartbreaking, you know. And I'm scared sometimes when I come out of the kids' house. They live on a freshwater, a spring-fed river, and we always call them canals, but it's not really. It's more like a little, I don't know what the heck you call it, but it is a real river. And I'm always scared of meeting an alligator going to my truck at night. It happens if they're hungry and they're desperate. Though I notice there's a lot of wildlife and fowl in the area, so hopefully that keeps them busy. So, yeah. And then, okay, for seniors, try to find an area. Your Gulf Coast is probably going to be easier than the East Coast, but I'm not totally sure. I've not bothered looking for housing over there because my family's here on the Gulf Coast, and this is where Dennis and I have always come. And so you would want to try to find yourself an area. If you want to, you know, if you've got to be close to the ocean, well, then find all the little towns in a row on the coast and start searching for senior public housing. Or, you know, and you got to be careful because, you know, Google's going to give you all these ad websites. You don't want to go there. You want to go to government websites, .gov, always. And so figure out where you'd like to be. There's articles all over the place. Sperling's best places. There's another one that starts with a K, but I can't remember the name of them. Where am I at here? So the first thing to do is pick a location. What do you want to be near? Do you want it really quiet? Then you might want to pick in away from the water a bit. You know, you got to keep away from the popular places. Tampa, St. Augustine, and I'm talking about the Gulf Coast right now. Bradenton, Sarasota. I wouldn't go there. I don't know these days what it's like, but back then it wasn't good. But more and more of what's happening is wealthy are moving in and they are driving the poor out, and the prices for rents have gone through the roof. And, you know, I remember my son saying a woman was paying $1,500 a month in St. Pete for a fifth wheel she lives in. That's the rent then. It might be $3,000 now. It was before, you know, the COVID and hyperinflation that's hit. And it's hit Florida hard. Our food is probably some of the most expensive groceries. That's the other thing. What can you afford? Electric isn't cheap. I'm pretty good here. In the cool months, I'm paying under $50 a month for electric. And right now I'm not paying because we got electric help. But this year, there's no funds for that. It's half of what it was last year. I don't know if there will be funds given for the poor seniors because we're last on the list for electric help. Families are first, people with no income is second, and poor seniors are last. So you need to keep that in mind too. You might end up having, even in these apartments, yes indeedy, you could have $125 a month electric bill. And I pay just between 24 and 25% of my income for this apartment. And these are kept up pretty well. They were not built well. So there's problems all the time. The noise problem is the biggest, I'd say. But like right now, it's very quiet. She woke up at 8:30 and started screaming next door. I call her Screaming Mimi. And does anybody speak Spanish? What does arajo mean? If it's a bad word, don't tell me, but leave that. She kept saying, arajo, arajo. So I don't know what that means. I think that's what she was saying. I hope it's not anyway, I should look that. I should Google that. What does that mean? Okay, let's not go there. So thank God the woman above me, bless her heart, she has problems. Every now and then I'll hear a big drop or the vacuum cleaner. That doesn't bother me. The incessant dog barking, but I guess she's not been able to take good care of her dog, and neighbors have been helping her with her dog. It's really sad. She's not in good shape. Don't smoke, people. It destroys your body. I see it every day. I see the smokers down here, and it's really sad. Them huffing and trying to get to the smoking bench, which is quite a ways from the apartment building. So, so for senior living, you're going to want to pick a place in Florida. Then you're going to want to start your search on HUD.gov and get on lists. So what you would do is you would contact that apartment. Best way is call them, ask them to send you an application, and then once your application is in, you go on the waiting list. Right now in my apartments, the last count I heard, 66 are waiting. I was 88 or 84, I can't remember. And it took a year and a half. And I had done it while Dennis was still alive. I knew we weren't going to be able to afford the rent. It kept going up at the trailer park. That was a over 55 trailer park. And I'm really glad. I can't even imagine what the rent is now in New Year. When I moved out, it went up to $525 a month. Went up $50. The old, it only goes up 3% each year. No, it's not true. So, if you think you're going to come down here and go into, that's the other thing. 3 times your income is what they're looking for when you go to rent. 3 times your income. And then pets are at times a problem. Are you going to pay more for pets, or they just don't want pets in there? If you're renting. If you're buying, good luck. Let's not even go there. So things have changed. They've changed. So you find an area, go to HUD.gov, see what's available for senior housing, You got to read all the little things and find senior this and senior that and click it, and eventually you'll get to where you want to go. Also, you could search, public housing, that's what they call it. Public housing for seniors in, let's say, Chieftain. It's way up north. Chieftain, Florida, and see what's available. Gainesville has become violent and crime-ridden. It's a shame because that's a university town, so don't go there. And unless you want to. I mean, do what you got to do. But you have to get on lists, and I recommend you get on at least 10 different lists, because you never know when a bunch of people leave for whatever reasons. Sometimes it's they go to a nursing home. Very rarely is it because they die. They usually moved out of here when they're really sick. And or a lot of them are just going back home. I've heard at least 3 instances where people have left Florida. Florida isn't an easy climate to take, y'all. Let me tell you. Come between April and May, it becomes an inferno. And it's not just heat. It's not like dry heat out west. This is weigh you down, cover you in water, heat. You step outside, and as an elderly person, I'm like, now I'm going to die right here. And I have a real problem with heat, so. And I also have a real problem with cold. Where do you go? I can't afford Hawaii. Maybe I should sign up there. I saw one of their senior poor people apartments. They're like this wide. I got room here. Hallelujah. I've got like around 600 square feet here. And I like it. I don't like the yelling. I don't like the dogs barking. But you know what? I just bought 200 earplugs. I'm ready for anything. I do like to listen to binaural beats when I'm going to sleep, so the earplugs, kind of kills that. But like if I know I need to sleep in that morning and I don't want to wake up 8:30 to screaming Mimi, I would stuff those things in my ears and take a pill, and I don't wake up till 10. So, there's that. But I was very well rested the other day, and so I'm good now. I can wake up at 8:30 and I'm all right. And, there's a lot of amenities to where I live. Oh my gosh, I have within 3 to 5 minutes, I have got gas and convenience stores. I've got grocery stores. As a matter of fact, let me count the grocery stores that are immediately available. 1, 2, is there any other one? There is 2 within 3 minutes of me. Grocery stores and, what do you call it, drugstores? At least 2. And then we have the Dollar General, not far at all. Walmart, that's the other one, that's number 3. I got 3 within 5 minutes, grocery stores. I can get whatever I want. And I love Walmart Plus delivery. It saves my butt, and I'm going to stick with that. So I can't keep tipping anymore, though. I need that money for, I'm just so torn. I'm like, these people work hard. I want to give these people something, but I'm really stressed out financially right now. And so $3 is a lot of money for me to just, because I'm paying $10 a month to have the Walmart service. So it's more than that, actually. I have to pay $120 a year to get the Walmart Plus. So, yeah. My daughter was able to get it in Texas for half price, believe it or not. Like $59. So, yay for her, but not for me. Florida just is wicked high demand in everything, and gas prices right now are teetering between $3.30 and $3.30 a gallon for gas. Is it gallons? Yeah. We don't do liters here, right? No. So, yeah. And, I only get like 9 miles to the gallon with a dang van. Oh, I don't know. I'm really on the edge about whether I want to do one more thing to it because I'm, but that's another story. So I'm going to try to start keeping my videos within content. So the content here is, if you're coming down to Florida, your best bet is to, there's also rooms for rent, but rooms for rent now are $900 a month, a room in someone's house. Yeah. Shared everything, and sometimes restricted. You can't even have kitchen access. So, yeah, and a lot of these are in mobile homes in 55 plus places, $900 a month. Yeah. The utilities and the rent to put your trailer on in a park, it's outrageous. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I hope this is of some help to you that are thinking about moving or retiring to Florida. I think things will change in time, but how? I'm not sure. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to hang on to my little apartment, and especially where rules are changing so much, and I don't want to go, camping out west. I think I'll just stay here for now. So that's it. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.